you gonna cuss throughout my whole show. Hello, this is Shantae.
What the fuck?
With brown sugar top and the black unicorns. I like what the fudge.
What the fuck?
Cause we are very ignorant.
No,
we be
we're not.
Going straight up crazy.
I know we're not that.
Hey, it's Shantae Brown Sugar Talk on the Black Unicorn. So again on the computer. So today just one show. Will you get a chance? Will you plug up the lights behind me?
No.
Okay.
I'm not going to do it because I don't have to.
Could you please try? Could you try, please, for me? Please, for me. Just please.
No.
Please.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
Please.
Let me play this
Help
game first.
me.
No. I might help you.
Okay, when you get a chance, just help me, okay? Because I need some more light. So anyway, I am a person that is like for real. Like I'm seriously, I don't mind interracial relationships because what I've learned is like actually an intercultural relationship. It's really not an interracial anything. And when people say, well, I just saw this meme about interracial relationships and how it doesn't help with stop racism. And sometimes, in fact, it really does. Like, seriously, like if a person has to take the time to get to know a person, all these different things, they start to create opportunities. Like, what if that person has a friend, they come over or whatever, and they get to know the person. Maybe that person is then a job is created. And that's essentially, again, another example I have where it happened to me because I was working at this store and I wasn't able to get into this program, and I would just keep telling the people that I needed help and what I want to do. And like I said, they would stand in line and bring me gifts and all this different stuff. But I wasn't in a relationship with anybody, but at the same time, I was creating friendships with these people. So just one day I was able to get into the program, and because at first they were just giving me like a long list of all this stuff I had to do. And when I told this person what was going on, she was like, oh yeah, that doesn't, so she went back to go look at it again. And guess what? I got a chance to get into the teaching program without having to go through all this extra stuff to get there. And so that's all I'm saying. It's like, it really does. Like some of the relationships that other people build outside of what you're saying. Something else that I used to do that was really positive. Like I said, when I used to go to restaurants and I would sit and I would just eat with different people. Like, and I would meet, I don't even know how the people I met, like they would have like all these positions and stuff. And you know, when people have certain positions, they do have to eat by themselves because they don't know people and everybody else knows them. I don't know really who they are, so I don't care. Like, you know, it's like even some people I follow on Instagram, I just speak to them because I don't watch TV. So it's like y'all know more about these people than I do. All I know is they got a blue check or whatever. I know
you don't watch that much TV, but you mostly did.
Exactly. So I just know R&B people, and if I look up someone, I look up a producer or a writer or whatever. Mostly writers. I look up the writers, but for the most part, I don't know half these people. So when I was by myself, when I was single, I didn't have anybody else to eat with. And I used to I love to go to restaurants, especially like by myself. I like the desserts and stuff.
Really?
I do. Before you were born, I used to do this while I was pregnant. You ate good. So besides the egg sandwich, I had an egg sandwich, which you did not like. Okay.
Oh, that's
the egg sandwich. He hates eggs now. He will not eat them
at all.
At all. But anyway, yeah. So.
But they're trapped in vinegar. Hell yeah! You know I'm about to fuck that bitch.
You go okay. No.
I don't give a fuck.
Call the egg a bitch. But anyway, so I would go and just like eat at the restaurants with different people, like with strangers, and I just met a lot of people that way too. And like I said, like just building relationships with people, you never know what kind of relationship you build. I remember we were at one restaurant and one woman was like, you actually teach your child well. Like seriously, like she was like, you do a good job of teaching your child. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, and if you ask me, they'll say like, I'll be like, I don't teach him nothing because that's what it feels like to me. Like I'm not teaching him anything sometimes, but
for real, actually, you actually don't.
But I teach him all day, whatever. We have all those talks, whatever. He learns, but at the same time, it don't feel like I teach him because I'm his mom. He's always with me. So what I'm saying is, I do think that they do. I do think if it's a positive interracial relationship, that is a chance for a person to learn new culture. It's a chance for a person to get to know a person of color or non-color, whatever, however y'all fix it out to be. But I do think that crossing over into other cultures, having intercultural relationships is not a thing. Because I always say my son is mixed too, because me and his father have different cultural tastes. Even my son's taste in food is different from mine. So some things that he likes, I'm just not, I'm not gonna eat it, but I have to buy that for him because that's something that in his culture, that's what they do. I'm thinking it. I don't know if it's like something where I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what it makes me feel like, because it's like he does like more of his cultural traditional food as opposed to what I cook. So that's what I'm saying. It's like really an intercultural relationship. They do. They help each other. Like it really does help. Like if I married a rich man or whatever,
and have a lot of money,
yeah, and I to my neighborhood, no matter what culture he is, I'm therefore providing something in my neighborhood. What if this man was like, okay, what you want to do for your city? You know, like what you want to store, all this, you know, and so then it's like, then therefore you providing something back to your neighborhood. And that's only if you're willing to. Sometimes what happens is people get into interracial relationships and then and it's against the color, like it's against, it is racist. It's like the person is actually inside the relationship is racist, and that's the point y'all don't want to start to talk about. Y'all don't want to talk about the racism of black people and colorism and all that stuff. It's not you. I'm not saying
no. Like I mean, like I literally said, pretty much. It's pretty much. I actually said racist.
Yeah, it is. And see, my son, he gets it too, because some people will be like, well, you're not mixed. And it's like, well, you really are. Yeah, like, I'm not the same culture as your father. Like, your father is a totally different culture. Yeah, so somebody else that represents that is a girl called Halfrican, and I'll follow her. No, her name is Halfrican. Is she on Instagram? So it's HALFRICAN, a gorgeous girl. But that's what I'm trying to get people to understand. It's like the cultures are not the same. And you can experience racism from the African culture too. They actually had this thing called a get out of jail party. That's actually like where they saying like African American people go to jail a lot. Listen, that's not always the case. I mean, and even if it is the case, it's a real stereotype that people are actually pushing us into. Like nobody is wanting to go to jail. Nobody is wanting to get pulled over and killed by cops. And if you look at it, the get out of jail party is stupid. And so that was something I would run into with African people sometimes. Like they don't understand, even though our culture, the American black culture, is young and sent all over the world, and it's held to a standard all over the world. All over the world still doesn't understand our culture. It's the same thing within the city. The cities that we come from, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, East St. Louis, Texas, all those cultures are still different, even though we all still the same color. So it's like an intercultural relationship. It's not an interracial anything, because the cultures will be different. I could totally meet a white guy out here and we could be the same culture. A good example of that is one of the guys that used to come to my mom's house. His name was Jeff. He is a part of our culture because he knows us. Like he knows our house. He knows what's in our house. He knows my mom you know what I'm saying? We know his business. We know, you see what I'm saying? So it's like that man is a part of my culture. So to me, that's not interracial. It's not even intercultural. We the same. That's our child, you know? So it's just like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, we share the same culture. We share the same thing. We gonna have, I'm gonna have Sunday dinner. He know that we gonna play some kind of cards or something on Friday night. He knows that I like to go to this. You know what I'm saying? It's like it'll be just different things inside of the culture, the traditions, the happenings, all these different things that we share. He may even like the same foods. He may even cook it the same way. All these different things. So yeah, he's white, but at the same time, if he's part of the family, that's the same culture. So that's how I look at it. And I'm saying, like, y'all, that's the part that we don't ever want to like study or whatever. And I feel like if we make little steps like that, if we start to look at it in little pieces and separate, and like how it affects our own lives, then we'll start to like create a change of positivity. Because sometimes some of the stuff y'all put out there is so negative. It's like rooted in negativity. It's like as soon as you post it, you know you got an attitude. If you post it and you like, maybe you shouldn't post it. Maybe the meme should not be posted. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's a true attitude about it, especially when it comes to something that's discriminatory. And that's all I'm trying to get y'all to see. Like a lot of stuff y'all post about sexuality, color, um, race, all that different stuff. Y'all, it's like we not actually studying and looking at what it is that's really affecting us. And culture is what affects us. Culture, 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 culture. So that's all I'm saying. It's like it's not even a racial. It's not a. It's really for real not a racial issue. Even though those systems are built, it's still stuff about classism and sexism and misogyny. And I'm feeling like,
Racism.
yeah, racism. But I'm feeling like too, it's like if we don't get sexism down to a point, like how the hell we finna tackle anything else? And that's all I'm saying. It's like we still not. It's like we always pushing and punching and fighting, and it's like we really do have the means to stop it, but we keep creating these situations or these clubs and these partnerships so that we don't even cross the lines anymore. So it's like now I have an issue with people who are pro-black. You know, it's like I understand what you're saying. I understand because the money isn't there, but if the money isn't there, how are we gonna get them to say something about the money if we not sitting down and actually coming to a true resolution about what's really the fuck going on? And so that's the problem right there. It's like, okay, well, this is how this is affecting me. And if we're not bringing them true data, if we just protesting and stuff like that, when do we start to put some shit on some fucking paper? It's like all these people out here, they getting all these degrees, and I haven't seen anything that's where it's like, let's study for this or let's study for that or whatever. Or I didn't see like people building up black neighborhoods again, different things like that, which is beautiful, which is something I'm so down for. But at the same time, what I'm saying is like, if you look back at history of people who were actually trying to make changes, they would always say too that you have to invite different cultures. And that's why, because what happens is like you get so pro whatever that you forget that it's evil out there. You forget that it's people that really is not for your culture. It's people that have been educated incorrectly and they actually have power. They actually have power. And so then they will use that power to force in the idea, and other people would just follow just because that person has power. And so that's the one thing that we stop. It's like the leaders that we have, right? The leaders that we had, the ones that are killed in it. Even me, I mean, for real, a minute my nervous breakdown, I fucking, because I was thinking they gonna kill me. That I know too much. Like I like somebody coming for me, and it's like because I had these ideas like Malcolm X, or because I have the ideas like Martin Luther King, or because I have ideas like Marcus Garvey, whoever. But it's like what I'm telling you, everything can't just be black. And even though we want it to exist that way, it's not gonna exist that way. I see how other people, how other nations, when they do the same thing, when they try to do their cleanse of like the purging of certain colors, and that's what it feels like right now. Like they'll try to like kill out a certain race of people. So they're, because they don't understand. It's almost like animalistic, even though we know, better than animals, even though we write books and all this different stuff, they'll turn everything into like some kind of animalistic situation. And it's like, wait a minute, we are better than that. And some of us are so educated that we know better than that, and it's still like we can't stop it from happening. And so even with education, you can't stop it from happening. So it's like, how do we move and make laws so none of these things start to happen? And you can always see that in different countries when they start to do their racial cleanse, when they killing the whole race for something, or they find a reason to do that. And I think COVID was an issue too. How the African people didn't bring it into your country, but you're gonna kill all the African people and put them out their house?
Call the ambulance.
The same thing with Hispanics. It was just a time when Bush was president. Now when Trump president, they're going to attack the Hispanic people. It's always something. And the reason why, too, is because the Hispanic population actually is going to, they know that sooner or later, which they already outgrew us. So what the problem was is that they actually started thinking that if Hispanic people outgrew the population, then Hispanic people would be more in offices and different things like that. So it's never really a true push to actually push Hispanic people towards higher education, towards different things like that, because they are afraid that Hispanic people are actually going to take over their culture. So because I think Hispanic people and white people, I think it's about the same. So that's all I'm saying. It's like, really we have to start to look at the numbers and the things that are happening and seeing, okay, stop believing what they say. Stop believing that stop being afraid of the numbers. Stop being afraid of whatever. And we need to start looking at people and the growth or whatever. And you're not gonna be able to do that if you just I ain't gonna cross the street because it's water over there. You just like, you gotta cross the street. You have to. Yesterday, I actually got upset with myself because I agreed with somebody about change. And the one thing you have to do is change. You have to be open to change. And I'm saying, change doesn't mean change everything about yourself, but change actually means like educate yourself, learn. Because sometimes even me, I mythify because sometimes I just do it off the top of my head. I haven't reread my facts or anything like that, and sometimes I'm just wrong. And so I have to go back and relearn and reread and different things like that. I have to listen to my son. My son is 11 and he knows more about stuff. He telling me to build a game. Me, he play the game every day. He get on the game and can build a world in 5 minutes. It take me 20 days. He can get on the thing and make a beat in 5 minutes. It take me 30 a whole week to make a beat. So that's all I'm saying. It's like I have to start to open myself to his ideals too if I want to keep myself growing. Because I have been in a situation now where somebody actually halted my life. Like they actually put a stop on my life. Like they actually was like repeating the same shit over and over again just so they could catch up to me. What the fuck kind of shit is that? Like what kind of reasoning is that? I actually felt like I was dead. Like I was like, I'm dead. Like that's like I can't do anything. And you really learning is what not learning is what kills you. You have to continuously grow. You have to continuously. Like it's always learning. It's always something to learn. I don't care who it's from. I don't care. Even the way gestures and people. Oh, I love the memes too. The memes are awesome because with the babies, like, it's like we put words to what they feeling and different things like that. So you get to see how this person feels or what this person does. It's so many different things to learn and so many ways to learn. But you have to be open-minded to that. And so just like closing the world off and saying that this won't work and it doesn't work, that's not true. It interracial or intercultural relationships, according to me, intercultural. And what's my other one? Mentally displaced. But yeah, which when I say mentally displaced, I actually mean you are mentally displaced. I feel like this is not it's not a place where you probably need to be. Like it's not we don't want this pushing and trying to find a job and trying to work through here. It's more like we kind of want to trade and move around and travel and different things like that. And I feel like if the United States was like that, we'll be okay. But again, so it's still discrimination. So anyway, but what I'm saying is like you just have to ultimately for real open yourself up into an intercultural relationship. And I'm saying with friendships, with love, with laughter, with all of it. It's like we keep blocking out. Even for me sometimes now I can't even really dig white people like that. Like I can't. And then I'm still having the PTSD and anxiety, so I do cut out like the black me, a lot of the black men. That's why I only look at people I probably never date or something like that. So it's something within me too. I got problems too. But what I'm saying is try to push past some of those problems so you can like move forward in your life. So it's not like a standstill or anything like that. You have to. Some days I have to push myself seriously. Like when I do have too much or too many people outside, when I go somewhere around me at one time or too many people, I don't want to go. I don't want to go today. I don't want to go, even though that was yesterday. Not today, not like today gonna be like yesterday. I don't want to be out there. I don't. And so
that's a lie.
That's what happens. I just have to push myself out the door and go. You talking about me?
He stopped on me.
Okay, yeah. So anyway, he wasn't talking about me. That was good. I didn't react. That was like, don't react because it wasn't about me. But yeah. So anyway, if that's the thing, I just some days I have to get up and go, and I do.
You thought I was talking about you?
I didn't actually. I just felt like, wait a minute, let me react because I don't know if he talking about me. You said it 3 or 4 times. That's why I was like, and you didn't look at me. So yeah. But anyway, yeah. So that's my whole thing. Y'all have to just create a trade. Create a system and create good relationships with people because they are so worth it. I'm telling you, it's so worth it because you never know how down or out you're gonna end up being or who you're gonna need or whatever. And that's from the richest to the poorest person. You have to. You have to. And give way to helping others too, like in different cultures and stuff like that. Cause it's not easy. It's just not easy. It's not. And that's it. I think that's it for me today. I was like, I wasn't gonna do a show today because I was tired. I have been like mentally exhausted. I've been like in a state of I need to meditate for 2 hours. And I think it's gonna happen sooner or later because my mind is gonna give up. But yesterday I was like in meditation and I couldn't stay in meditation. So I don't know if anybody ever felt like that, but it felt like a dissonance. Like I needed to meditate, I needed to rest, and I wasn't resting or meditating properly. So that's gonna happen. I know the sleep will hit me sooner or later, or the meditation state or something. It's like I just want to sit there and do nothing. That's how I feel. My brain needs to be cut off, and I haven't even been agitated or worried or anything. So that's it. I am just like that. But yeah, intercultural. It's not interracial. It's intercultural because you actually are going over into somebody else's culture. If it's in your same neighborhood, it's still not racial. That's like a classist relationship. All those different things. Because in the end, if you married to somebody of a different race and they want their family to succeed, they are more oftentimes than not going to help the other person get a job. And the person that's stifling it is the person of color. That because they have now formed these ideas and all these different ways of life around black people too. So that's why I say, yeah, sometimes y'all don't want to see the truth stuff. Y'all just want to keep going over. We have been abused. Yes, we have been abused, but now the abuse, that's the part of systematic racism. The abuse is inside of us too. Because we'll do the same thing. We will do the same thing whether you know it or not. A black person will do the same thing to their own people. And so sometimes people even learn racial issues like that from black people. And that's the same thing I would teach my kids in the classroom. It's like if I am a bully to one student, all the kids are gonna still bully that student. But if I'm a person, if I advocate for the student, then usually they'll stop. They'll take up for the student. So if you are a person of power, and I don't care what kind of little power you have, if you're a manager, you're a principal, if you whoever, and you treating a white person, so you treating a black person badly, then they more likely gonna treat the black person badly too. So some of these things we have to do, we have to stop within our own community instead of always pushing it off on somebody else to treat us the correct way. When you give customer service to a black person, get them real customer service. Don't just get them no pissy ass customer service. For me, when I wait on somebody black, I want them to know that I'm professional. I want them to know that I enjoy waiting on them. I want them to know that I enjoy them as a human being. Because again, culture does not make us the same. So that's an intercultural relationship. So now I have to put my best foot forward. And that's why I think black businesses, that's where y'all make y'all mistake at. It's like, well, I know you. Because we the same color, you don't know me. You don't know me. You know, I grew up in Illinois, but I was also raised in the South. So for me, I feel like I'm Southern.
In the South Block?
No, Southern, like South, like Southern Illinois. But even though Southern Illinois, but I was raised in Texas and sort of parts of Louisiana. So for me, I don't like rude people. I don't care what color you are. Don't talk to me any kind of way because I don't know you like that. So it's like that's the problem. You see, so it's like when I'm waiting on somebody, I know about my culture. I know who I am. So therefore, I won't disrespect you like that. I'm not gonna disrespect you and just be in your face like I know you. And so that's like where a lot of black businesses fall, and also black communities too, because it's outside of that. You have an intercultural relationship within your communities too. Because if the neighbors over here came from Alabama and I came from Mississippi, the way we make our pie is gonna be different. Just the same as when African people talk about jollof rice. You know, it's a respect of the culture because they two different cultures. Zimbabwe and Nigeria, they don't do the same things. So that's the same thing here. Mississippi and Tennessee don't do the same things. And instead of us looking at ourselves globally, we keep thinking of ourselves in 50 states, and we are so much bigger than that. I'm sorry that people have taught you to think small. I think that this is what we do is so small, it's so tiny. Yes, we are a speck, but at the same time, what we give to the world is so much better, it's so much growth. So if you think about it, you would think about the culture of Mississippi and how you would go down there. I think about the culture of Illinois, and I love to be there. I think about the culture of Maine, all these different places, and it's like you like all the Mississippi. I love how they put out a big wood plank and put those on those three things on those trestles, and they laid out food for us, and we had church. So if I went to church, I want to go to church in Mississippi, and a backup, like I want to go down a dirt road to an old barn that was made into a church with a trellis out with them. What they call them, those three things. I want to be there. I'm gonna eat everything. I don't care if the spaghetti got grease in it. I'm gonna eat it. You see, because that's the culture. They're giving us that's the part of who they are. If I go to Maine, because it's on the coast, I want to go somewhere and get lobster and shrimp for 15 cents because it's so close to the water. It's so cheap. You see, if I go to I don't know, in Kentucky, I want to go to the Kentucky Derby and dress up and be pretty. So it's like that's what I'm saying. It's like all of us have these different nuances that we give to ourselves, and we think that they not worldly, and they are. Every state has something. Every culture inside that state, especially Black culture, has something so rich about it. It's so rich. It's like the colors that we see and we put on the internet and all these different things, and the pictures and the blogs and all this different stuff. And it's like we all keep thinking so small. We keep thinking so small. See, when you start to think about race, that's so small. When I start to think about what person, so small, because you are so much bigger than what you think you are. And that's how you gotta wake up. You gotta wake up like that. I'm telling you, you gotta wake up like that.
You are poor.
Yeah, we are. I was about to say. My son said, but we are poor. Well, you talking about us? No. Okay, yeah, because we are. Like, we have nothing. But we wake up and we think about all the stuff that we gonna do and the places we want to go and all that different stuff. And if I die tomorrow, at least I'm gonna die and know that my son got that in him where he want to be able to travel and do all these different things and learn all this different stuff and whatever. You see, and I know how he do. Will he be okay with his money? You know, like it's like I know you know how to add and subtract. You know, so multiply to and divide. So that's all I'm saying. It's like we are so much more, and I don't know how to get y'all to think like that, because y'all already thinking it. Y'all thinking on this big diaspora or this big platinum thing when y'all putting all this pro-Black rhetoric out there and you know all this different stuff. You not.
Oh God,
because you are so much. You huge. You are huge. And I don't know how to get y'all to think past that platform, because it's different. It's not race. It's culture. It's culture. And so you start with the community around you. It's the community around you clean. It's the community around you respectful. It's the community around you helpful. It's the community around you. Do they have gardens? Do they have this? Do they have that? All these different things. Is that the community around you? If you hate the community around you, what do you do now?
Oh my God.
That's my next thing. Is the community around me safe? That's my first thing. If it's not safe, how do they make it safe? What about the people that are in danger? Is there anybody in danger in my community? It's so many different aspects of just like what more we have to think about besides the color of our skin. Okay. And that's all I'm saying. It's a cultural thing. And I hate that they write books about it. I was like, during all this, I was at a museum and a woman told me don't say anything. I guess because somebody was speaking too. But the woman said don't say anything because it was in a book. And the book said that it was about the race. He said, well, if you do something with the race, then this is that and the other. It has nothing to do with the race. It has everything to do with the culture. If I grew up in Italy, I'd be a Black Italian. So I'm going to know how to make all these different, like I'm gonna know how to make all these different whatever, you know, different pastas and different things like that. I'm going to speak the language. That's going to be me, right? So it is. Black people are all over the world. So it's like all black people safe all over the world, or all black people able to get to the point of being rich. What? How can we do that? What products can we get from this company or this company?
Come on, go.
Would it be better for us to help a black company in Italy start something? Would it be better for us to help? You see what I'm saying? It's like it's so much bigger than what we trying to say. It's so much bigger than what y'all trying to do. And y'all keep wasting it on this damn rhetoric instead of us changing our stories. That Andrew Gillum, man, that fucked me over. Because I'm like, that story should have been saying that man was a fucking terrorist. That dude was a freaking killing me. But that dude was a politician. No, because you like bitch. But anyway, yeah, the dude was a politician. And so if he a politician, why? Like, it's like, why are we not looking at the story in a different way? And that's the problem that we having. It's like we still keep falling prey to what white people spew to us or what other people's standards are. And it's like at this point, we should be starting to make our own standards of whatever of what we want and what we don't want to take. Especially like it's when we on TV and in politics. We need to start making that standard. Do I stay here or do I go? Who else can offer me a job as a TV person? Are they willing to pay me? If they not, then what can I change here while I'm on TV? You see, it's like it's so many more things that we could be thinking about. But instead we come back to the same thing. Cardi B got divorced from him. Y'all know that's a distraction. When they put out stuff like that, when they start to put out stories about people, like the talent, you see what I'm saying? The talent. Somebody else was saying it's Wallow 267. He was saying WALLO 267. He was saying we out here speaking to the talent. We want these jobs. We out here speaking to the talent, and we not speaking to the producers or the directors, whatever. What I'm saying is when they put out stories about talent, entertainment stories, you need to start looking and seeing what the political side of that is saying. Because if you go back and search, every time they put out some big story, I'm going to say the best one was Michael Jackson. At that time, Bush was actually trying to push for all that racial stuff to keep going on, and they had Michael Jackson in court. So if you don't pay attention to the talent and you start actually paying attention to the stories that's going on behind the talent, you will actually find out that at that time something else political is going on, something racial is going on. It's going to be some kind of disparity that they are doing against people, against real people in real life. But they will distract you with stories about all these different people. That's actually a media setup. That's a government setup for real. They will always do that whenever it's some big story about somebody. And I'm talking about they'll run that person down till they can't run them down no more, until they get done with doing whatever dirt they got to do. So that's all I'm saying. It's like we start as a community. That's the first thing we need to start paying attention to. Too is like we got to start pushing for that. It's something that we have to push for, and it's something that we have to raise our standards on. Stop thinking about somebody's sexuality. Stop thinking about what color they are. All those things that say that this is racism and sexism and all this different stuff. Start standing up for those things. And I'm telling you right there, that's how you start to change our community. We can't keep letting them bully us into thinking that they right. And we can't keep following a Christian religion that, and I'm not saying it's all Christianity, because I say be Christian. But I'm saying you cannot stick into, keep going into taking Christianity through a system and telling people that they not this enough, or they're not that enough, or they not good enough, or whatever, based on all those other things, based on religions and things too. We have to stop that too. Just because a person is Muslim and you Christian don't make them any different from you. So you have to stick up for the Muslim just as much as you do for the Christian. So it's like that's how we start to do it. We start to stick together. And you also start to get those balances in your community. What kind of arguments going on? What kind of fights? What kind of dissonances in the community? You said what now?
Who's a Muslim?
We'll talk about it later because it's like two. It's like I think it's different types,
like
but it's like
a
Muslims, the religious people, not the Muslim. No, but yeah. So yeah, it's like I just taught you something.
Sorry, I already know that. I just wanted to tell you that.
I'm appalled. But yes, that's it. Like that is part of what I'm saying. It's like that's what I'm saying. It's like We waste a lot of time fighting each other and putting each other down, just the same as the media would do, just the same as a white person would do, just the same as somebody else would do, instead of sticking up for each other. We already know that it's Christians. We already know that it's Muslims. We already have all this data, all this information, all of it, and we still talking about the same shit. Who a hoe? Who a bitch? Who a slut? Who did this? Who did that? I need to stop some of that stuff too. But it's like, that's how we raise the standard. Like, you all stick up for women. If you see somebody on the internet talking about Cardi B, I don't care if you don't like it. I don't care if you some Christian, whatever, you stopping you. No, you don't do that. You don't do that. We gotta start tapping some, pop they fucking hand, because that's the problem.
What is the problem?
It's like, this is what we do. We'll put each other down in our own community and then expect other people to respect us. And it's like, but if you go somewhere else, they're not gonna take that. It's just not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. You see, it's gonna be stopped. And that's it. That's how you get that together. That's how you heal. Start to, and I'm not saying accept everything, because that's the other thing. Other communities don't accept everything, but they accept it within the community. You know, I was watching one movie and it was a Muslim, no, it was a Jewish thing, and the guy was a drunk. They let him be a drunk. When he came in the house, they cussed his ass out. You know, they stopped him from hurting and stuff like that. But in the end, he was a drunk. You know, everything is not going to be perfect, but at the same time, some things can be contained and some things can be kept, and some things can be, who he hurt? He hurt nobody but himself. Now that's it. He could only hurt himself. He went there. He couldn't hurt the daughter. They kept the daughter within him. So you see what I'm saying? It's just, look at it, see it, educate, hold him close, leave him alone, push him away, whatever you got to do. But that's part of our community. And it's like, that's the thing. It's like, stop.
Because I am king.
Stop. What I'm saying is, a lot of stuff y'all do, it really is things that white people taught to you. And you don't know how to react to it. And that's part of healing too. You don't know. Who would know how to react to that? Who would not react to that in anger? Who would? Who wouldn't need a cleansing from that bullshit? All of us do. But some things, yes, y'all actually just follow other extremes that white people take. If you find yourself having to put rhetoric and all these different things and protest against black, or what somebody else do and all this different stuff, then yeah, you doing the same thing white people do. If they haven't genuinely hurt you,
bow down before your king.
You're doing the same thing white people do. That's why I say the whole thing about the interracial relationships, who cares? Who cares? Bisexuality, who cares? Who cares?
Bow down before your
Flowerism, king. I care, because I love those flowers and people hurt. To do more pictures like that. Y'all have to do more, but yeah. The rest of y'all, stop discriminating. Stop discriminating. We gotta start fighting for all of us. For all of us, because that's the only way they're gonna see it. That's the only way they're gonna see it. We have to fight for everybody. All of us. All of us. And when it's something wrong, say something. The whole thing. If it's something wrong, tell people. Let people know. Stop that shit before it starts. And I'm talking about real shit wrong. Rape, molestation. You see, that's the killing. That's some real shit right there. Everything else, I don't know. Y'all gonna have to start trying to find a way to get over y'all bullshit. Because a lot of y'all do just as much dirt as another motherfucker by posting these goddamn memes. That's just as hurtful as anything else that's out there. You will actually create a shame within your community. So if I'm in an intercultural relationship, I'm supposed to feel bad about it because I'm getting love? No. Just because a person is in an intercultural relationship does not mean they abandon their own culture. They really don't. They actually might find more pride in it. If they with the right person, they'll find more pride in it. The right person will have you doing the right things. The wrong person won't give a fuck.
From.
And they'll take you away from it. You see?
Get off.
So, and the best thing too is the person starts to learn new culture and brings better positivity back to the community, brings more positivity back to the community, brings more ideas back to the community, brings more everything back to the community. Because that's business. Do y'all know that's business? If you learn more about the
It's
same
not
different
your
things,
fault.
then you'll find creative ways to change things.
Yes. It is.
So that's why you have to start to
Yes, it
learn
is.
about different cultures and different foods and different places and different things. And it's not just in here. If you so pro black, then only go to Maine and see the black people. If you pro black, go to somewhere else and go see the black people. Go to Mexico and just see the black people. Wherever you go, if you pro black, go to these places and see the black people. And they'll tell you what's going on too. They'll tell you.
Yes.
We have to start to change and take up for our people. So all this extra shit, what they do in their bedroom, that ain't none of your fucking business. That's all I'm trying to tell y'all. It ain't really none of y'all. That's all y'all be stuck on is what a pussy and a dick do. If y'all want more kids, keep fucking. But leave everybody else the fuck alone. They ain't got nothing to do with you. So anyway, it's Ashante, Brown Sugar Talk, Black Unicarns. Yeah, y'all oversexed. Y'all don't even know it. That's what I'm saying too. Y'all oversexed and don't even know it. Y'all so busy thinking about the parts of somebody else that you're not even thinking about yourself. You're not thinking about the real relationships that you have in your life. It ain't no fucking way. If you actually had real relationships and y'all, I'm the one that they left isolated and lonely. So I'm telling you this right now. If you thinking about somebody else's interracial relationship or intercultural relationship, it's not their problem. It's you. The problem is you.
I am king.
I can't keep sitting here thinking about the man I don't have. And he either gonna come or he gonna come. He not gonna come. Either way, I still have to grow, learn, cheer, fight, write, draw, kick, scream, hug, love, all that stuff. Whether it's a partner here or not.
Bow down.
I have to stand up for my color. I have to stand up for being a mother. I have to stand up for my child.
Okay.
I have to stand up for my life and my rights. And I can still do that without anybody by my side. So I don't have time to think about an interracial or intercultural couple and what they bring back to the community because I have to put what I can into the community while I'm here because I got a kid on this earth and he watching me. And if the world don't change, then he would be a person in power. He would be a person in a position of power. And I would rather for me to teach him how to use that power and how to keep and control that power instead of me teaching him something about an interracial and intercultural couple. Love first. Love yourself first. Heal first. Cause right now y'all tripping. Y'all be tripping. Have a great day. Shantae, Brown Sugar Talk, Black Unicarns. Stay safe.